French negation with FrenchSpanishOnline.com. We are going to see in this video how to translate the word not in French. For simple tenses with just one verb, for example, the present tense, I eat, je mange. So if you want to say I don't eat, you will say je ne mange pas. So you have here ne before the verb and pas after. So the verb just in the middle. And it's like that for simple tenses. Another one with future, I want it, je ne mangerai pas. So the same rule, you've got the verb in the middle. With compound tenses now, like le passé composé, j'ai mangé, I ate. If you want to say I didn't eat, you will say je n'ai pas mangé. And here we have ne pas around the first verb of your sentence, the auxiliary verb, je n'ai pas mangé. And because this verb starts with a voil, we will write an apostrophe instead of ne, je n'ai pas mangé. I didn't go, so now le passé composé with the verb to be as auxiliary, so the same thing actually, je ne suis pas allé, so ne pas is for the first verb and suis, the verb to be, is just in the middle, je ne suis pas allé. Imperative mood now, when you want to give order or to make an invitation, for example. So an order, eat, mange. But if you want to say don't eat, ne mange pas. So here actually the same thing, we've got the verb in the middle for the imperative. Don't go. Well, here, go is a bit special that, in short sentences, the verb to go in French doesn't like to be alone. So we need other short words like I or en. So for example, we say n'y va pas to translate don't go. Another possible translation is ne t'en va pas. So you can use actually both of them, but it's better to learn them because we use these expressions a lot in French. N'y va pas, ne t'en va pas, to translate don't go. When we have a question, you know that in French we have three questions forms. For example, when you take just the affirmative sentence and you up your voice at the end of the sentence, so you've got a question. Tu ne manges pas? So actually the same, that's the affirmative, just you up the voice. You know that we have the est-ce que question. Est-ce que tu ne manges pas? So here the same thing actually, because you've got just the affirmative sentence and you add at the beginning est-ce que, so no change for our negative form, ne and pas. And we've got the inversion. The inversion is a bit special. When you've got a negative inversion, ne always start the question. And we've got pas after the subject. Ne manges-tu pas? As you can see here, we've got the subject tu and pas is just after. Ne manges-tu pas? So more examples about questions. Tu n'as pas mangé la pomme? So here it's the past. Tu n'as pas mangé la pomme? N'as-tu pas mangé la pomme? Again, it's a negative inversion. We've got ne at the beginning, an apostrophe because of the voil. And we've got pas after the subject, tu. N'as-tu pas mangé la pomme? And of course, it works for all subjects. Infinitive. For example, if you want to say to not work on weekend. To not work on weekend, so in French we say ne pas travailler le week-end. Travailler is the infinitive form of the verb to work in French, and we just put ne pas before. So no verb in the middle here. Ne pas travailler le week-end. Another example, to not smoke. It's the infinitive form, the negative infinitive. So in French we say ne pas fumer. Again, we've got ne pas just before the infinitive form of the verb. Ne pas fumer, it's also the translation of not smoking. And if you want to say to be or not to be, so here you've got two infinitive, and the second is the negative form, you will say être ou ne pas être. Être ou ne pas être. So again, you've got ne pas just before the infinitive form of the verb to be. With reflexive verbs, verbs like using the small word se in French. For example, to wash oneself is se laver. So I don't wash myself. In French we will say je ne me lave pas. So here you can see the possessive form is with the verb in the middle. So we've got the ne before and pas after. She didn't wash herself for the past, so the same thing. Elle ne sait pas laver. Here, as you can see, the S apostrophe is with the verb in the middle, and we've got ne before and pas after the verb, after the first verb, here the verb to be. So it's a bit special for reflexive verbs. Don't forget to include the possessive form with the verb. I didn't go to bed. So to go to bed in French is se coucher, so it's a reflexive verb. So I didn't go to bed is je ne me suis pas couché. Again, we've got the word me with the verb in the middle and ne before, pas after the verb. Je ne me suis pas couché. Don't hurry up. Ne te dépêche pas. Ne te dépêche pas. The same rule, we've got te with the verb inside. So that's a rule actually for reflexive verbs. So let's see now how we say the negative form on a colloquial way when we speak actually. When we speak, we don't say ne, we just say pas. So, instead of ne mange pas, you can say mange pas. Je mange pas instead of je ne mange pas, but just when we speak. T'as pas mangé instead of tu n'as pas mangé, or je mangerai pas for je ne mangerai pas. So as you can see, again, when we speak, we don't use the word ne. Some difficulties now with negation in French. Je mange un gâteau. I eat a cake. Here, as you can see, we've got the indefinite article un gâteau. Well, if you want to say the negative form of this sentence, in French you will say je ne mange pas de gâteau. As you can see here, the indefinite article becomes de for the negative sentence. Je ne mange pas de gâteau. We won't say je ne mange pas un gâteau. No. Je ne mange pas de gâteau. Another example, je veux de l'eau. So here we've got the definite article, L'. Je veux de l'eau. I've got some water. So if you want to say that you don't want water in French, you will say je ne veux pas d'eau. And here the definite article disappears. Je ne veux pas d'eau. Okay? Another example. Tu bois du vin. Du is the contraction of de le, so du includes the definite article le actually. I am drinking some wine. So if you want to say now that you don't drink wine, tu ne bois pas de vin. Again, here in the expression de, the definite article le disappears. Tu ne bois pas de vin instead of tu ne bois pas du vin. Je mange des carottes. Now, the same thing for plurals. So here, des is the contraction of de les. You want to say that you eat some carrots. So the negative form is je ne mange pas de carottes. Again, the definite article, the plural form, les, disappears here. Je ne mange pas de carottes. So remember that when you've got the translation about something, in the negative form is de in French, pas de. And that's one of the difficulties we've got in this negation. Well, you will find more actually about more negation form in English, how to translate never, nothing, not anything, etc. in French if you go to FrenchSpanishOnline.com and to read the script of this lesson. Anyway, thank you very much for watching these slides with me and see you soon. Au revoir.